Rawdon, Keys. You know, it's just one. It's like it reminds you of Euston Station when the Galway train would come in, or a train would come in, and people just getting off the train and just a big explosion of noise, and it's just like that constantly. It's a very depressing place, particularly this place here, the segregation unit, where I spent 6.5 years, and it's a very confined place. So it's brilliant being able to sit here, looking over at it. Feels great, yeah. Feels great. I was born in Coombe Hospital. My mother was living in York Street at the time. I am the seventh, I always get this mixed up. I'm the seventh eldest, I'm the seventh youngest, one or the other. There's 14, there's 12 in the family. My father died 14 years ago. At the moment now there's 3 of us living at home. 3 boys, sorry, and my sister and her 2 children and my mother. 6 of us at home. We moved up here, we're up and coming now 14 years, 15 years I think. Before that, as I said, in York Street, and before that, my mother was living in Old Camden Street. While I was down in York Street, I was very active, you know, in sports. I was involved in a club down there, Clongowes, and I loved going out hiking, football, canoeing. They did all that sort of thing, as most clubs do, and as I said, I got involved in an awful lot of that down there. My mother, I wasn't really close to my mother. My mother was my mother, you know what I mean? But my father, I was very close to my father, because I felt that, I don't know what it was when I was that age, but I felt that my father was real understanding. I could talk to him, you know what I mean? And he understood perfectly, you know, exactly, you know, if I had something going on, or, you know, I wanted to know something, I'd always tend to go to my dad first, because I just felt real comfortable with my dad.
Do you not throat not get dry?
I'm roasting.
You must open the window as well, because it's too hot in here. Well, you can go back as far as 20 years now regarding Dermot. You go back now as 20 years. He was lovable, a very lovable lad, and no one would ever believe that he caused him much trouble. But I'd say if his dad had been more strict on him in his younger days, the Dermot would have never got as bad. I don't think so, because the dad covered up an awful lot for me. Not, don't tell Mum you're in trouble. Don't tell Mum this, don't tell Mum that. And I'd be saying, I wonder where's he going? Dermot's gone out, and Dad had to go out after him. We're going to the courts with him. He stood by him. You see, if I had known myself, maybe if he had trusted me more so than his dad, the things wouldn't have turned out as bad, because I've my own way with my children, myself. I know how to take care for them and love them. But I'd say from the time that Dermot was about 16, it had been in trouble.
Up until Dermot was 13, he was normal brother of mine. No trouble, the usual things you get up to. In around 13, things changed. Became a bit hyperactive or wild. And my mother and father tried to treat him the same as they treated us, but he just seemed to always be that little bit different.
The first time I got into trouble was, it was just childish things. Robbing sweets out of a sweet shop, just running in and just snatching a few sweets and running out. Down in York Street, I started seeing, you know, robbers. These were people that I knew to be robbing, and they tended to have, you know, they'd have girls hanging out their arms, and they'd have plenty of money, and they'd have the latest runners out, and clothes, jumpers, shoes and all that. And that appealed to me, but I think what really appealed to me was the freedom that they tended to have. Like, they can come in, come and go whenever they pleased, come in whenever they want to. Whereas my family, they weren't very strict, but they were strict enough. I'd have to come in, say, in the night, 9:30, 10 o'clock, or during the summer it would be when it's just starting to get dark. My mother will come out and call me, that type of thing.
Hello, Dermot, how are you? Nice to see you. You have a cup of tea?
No, I'm alright, I'm upstairs. I started intravenously using at an early age. People tend to, and most people tend when they take drugs, they start off, say, with hash and work their way up. But it didn't work that way with me. I just, you know, heroin. I started taking heroin, snorting it for a couple of months, snorting it up my nose. I used drugs in every room of the house. They realised obviously that I was involved in crime because the police were coming to the door, that type of thing. But it was a few years before they realised that I was involved in drugs. Actually, how my mother found out I was involved in drugs, I was out robbing one time, and I came in. I was out getting a few bob, and I had to go back out in say in an hour's time. So I took off all what I was wearing and I threw them on the bed, you know, expecting my mother to wash them. You know what I mean? And I put on another pair of clothes, had a wash, set of clothes and had a wash, and sat down for a cup of tea and chips or something. And my mother was taking me clothes up to actually put them in the washing machine, and she was going through my pockets to make sure there was nothing in them. And there was a syringe. There was a syringe in my pocket, and she actually took it out and came out and just plopped it in front of me, you know.
I used to do home help at that stage. And when I'd come home, I used to see maybe 3 or 4 lads in the house here. And I used tin foil and all the bits and pieces on the, not on that table, on the table aside. And I started crying. Jeremy said, "Ma'am, don't be worrying. Don't be worrying. Everything is all right. We're not doing any harm." But I used to run out. I used to put my coat on me. I couldn't stick it. It was getting too much for me, really.
Hurting my mother was the worst thing that Dermot did, because it hurt all her sons and daughters. Outside of that, even hurting my father. My father was very close to Dermot. Hurted us. Outside of the family, Dermot done a lot of hurtful, terrible things. I mean, he committed crime. He robbed people. He robbed banks. He hurt people while he was robbing banks. There's a lot of particular instances that Dermot really hurt people.
Total, like, my mother, total shame, like.
Yeah.
I know she's still, like, you know, my mad, like, you're still her son, like, and that's the way she's rated. But some of the things you did in the house, without the house.
I mean, did you ever do a robbery without drugs? When you were, like, sound
yeah,
mind, like.
yeah.
Did you ever go through your head of the damage in the horse part, hasn't it?
No. All I wanted was
Money.
the money. But again, this might come across as, you know, I'm justifying why I did what I did.
You can't justify
You
it as
can't,
such.
yeah, you can't justify it, but I never actually went out with the intentions of, you know, hitting, you know, insulting people. Although, after saying that, if someone got in my way, I would hit them. The more I was getting into, the more money I was spending on the drugs, and obviously the more of a habit I was getting, the more money I had to get to feed the habit. Like robbing handbags and robbing cars, they were sort of, I wasn't getting enough money out of them to feed me habit. So I started jumping over post offices, going in and robbing post offices. If I got £1,000, I'd say 700, 800 would go on drugs, and that would go within 2 days.
You'd have to kind of examine your words if you were saying something to Dermot when he was on drugs now. I'm not talking about now. But when he was on drugs, you had to be very careful what you'd say, because he could turn on you in a minute. I saw him with money, and I saw him counting it, but I wouldn't know where he was after getting it. And one day I came home, and was the 2 lads, well, they're dead and gone since, they were next door. And they'd been here, and Dermot was counting money. And he said, "Ma'am," he said, "do you want that? Have you any bills to pay?" I said, "No, my bills are paid." And Dermot said to me, "Ma'am," he said, "will you watch at the window? I want to go out." So I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I just want to go somewhere." He said, "Just relax and everything will be all right." So we went out that day and he was caught. He was caught that day.
Dermot was serving a sentence in Mountjoy, and myself and my sister Marie went up to tell him that my father had taken ill. As I said, he was very close to my father, and it was a tricky sort of situation. We approached the social workers in Mountjoy prison and asked them what way to approach Dermot to tell him. They said they'd sedate him if we came the next day, and the reason they were sedating him was to just keep him calm because he was liable to explode. He did explode.
I remember going up and looking at my dad in bed, and the nurse said, I think it was the nurse that said to me, you know, hold his hand and speak to him because he'll hear you, you know. And I was kind of saying to myself, you know, well, like, how will he hear me, you know, that type of thing. You know, but I held his hand and anyway. But I think it was only set down, I was only there for about 2 minutes, and I was looking at my dad, and then I was looking at prison officers, you know, and I wasn't into it at all. Like, I was just saying, you know, this is not right, even though it'd probably be the last time I'd see him. Like, you know, the fact that I was there with prison officers, and they handcuffed me to the bed as well, you know, so, as I said, I just said to the prison officer, you know, I was only just sitting down, I said, listen, I want to go back. I held the face, I held my composure till I got back up to the prison. And then when I got up to the cell, I bawled my eyes out, you know what I mean, and I didn't care if anybody looked in the cell or anything like that, I would just get it all out, you know. But I didn't want to do it in the hospital, or I didn't want to, you know, it was, although my family wouldn't say it was an embarrassment, you know what I mean, like, I just felt I was embarrassing them, you know.
I don't think Dermot had the chance to grieve for my father the way we did, because I think he was serving a prison sentence and he was also sedated at these particular times, and you often wonder what way that affected Dermot, because obviously he grieved afterwards, but he didn't grieve for his family. He would have grieved in Mountjoy prison.
It's just that the kind of lifestyle is that it's like a hyperactive child, you know what I mean? You're just constantly on the go, whether you're on the run with police, whether you're going out robbing, or whether you're going out to score drugs, or whether, you know, you'd only sleep because it's dark, you know what I mean? And or you're tired or something like that. If you can get by without sleep, you would. It's just constantly, you know, it's if you're on speed, you know what I mean, all the time. You're just going here, then you don't have time to think, you don't have time to, you know, do the normal things normal people do that wasn't on drugs. See the lads there standing over there at the moment? They're actually, and these lads over here, they're actually going into score. Or that lad on the bike there probably is actually selling drugs. And this block here, not this one here, the second one on the left is where everything's happening at the moment, where on the stairways there's actually groups of people, drug pushers selling drugs, and they come from all over Dublin, sometimes Blackrock, all over the place just to get their drugs for their fix. The police sometimes there's be a couple of policemen actually stationed in the block, but if the policemen are in the block, they probably go over to this block over here or the playground here, but that's the general area where everything gets done, you know. To be honest with you, at the moment I don't think they have a future, because everything they're finding syringes on the stairs, they're seeing exactly what goes on, they're listening to the people talking, they know all the lingo, the terminology. So no, I don't think the kids would have any future at all, unless they get out of it.
There was one particular time, I remember being in my mother's one night. He needed a fix.